Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. Let me know you're here. If you're not a subscriber, you can also just say hi or use someone else's emotes. I'm okay that way. Do it if you got it. All right. I am excited for this evening's stream. Lastbrook is here. Mr. Hadel is here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for people that are here. As soon as I go live, you're around. Lord Crashing's is here, throwing some emotes in there. Hello, hello. Actually, just give me 1 second. I'm going to throw the be right back on here. Oh, well, I do got to say, Epic Open World just subscribed with Twitch Prime. That's 25 months. Thank you so much. So let's throw the Bear Cave Lego, the site, the emote in the chat, and then I'm going to quickly go to the be right back screen and just clean up because I just got back from dinner very recently. So let me just take care of this for a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm coming back. Sorry about that. Immediately felt weird because I'm a little rushed tonight. Everything's okay. I didn't want to start late, but I am a little rushed. Went out to dinner. We've had a guest at the house, and he took us out to dinner, which is very nice. I had the veal marsala, which was great. It was a little sweeter than I would have imagined it that I've had from marsala before because the shiitake mushrooms were very fresh, and therefore it was a little bit more. Often, not all don't always have it with shiitake mushrooms. So yeah, it was a little sweeter than I'm used to, but it was still very good. Maybe I should have gotten the Francaise instead of the Marsala. I don't know. Either way, it was great. Veal. It's awesome unless you think about it. And I'll admit, sometimes I choose not to think about it and just enjoy it. When's the last time I had veal? I don't even fucking know. It's been a while. So we're in the intro portion. We're going to let people come in. We're going to be chill about it. You know, sometimes people don't come in till the second hour. Sometimes people don't come in until we're almost done. 2 days ago, Aletku rated as we were rating someone else. They were rating us, which I feel very bad about. But also, I stream from 9 p.m. Eastern to almost 11 p.m. Eastern. Usually about 10:55 or so, we go and raid. So you know, if you're going to come and raid me, don't do it right at 11. But thank you, of course. I did feel bad about that. But yeah, we're being casual here tonight. What's on the agenda for this evening? Well, tonight we will, of course, talk about anime. I think a lot of foods can fit into the best not to think about it category. You're totally right. You are totally correct. So tonight we're going to talk about we can talk a little bit about convention stuff. There's not too much to talk about, but we can kind of talk about that. You know, I'm going to promote a thing because I've got to promote. I got to promote. We are going to talk. Oh, Lord Crashington also resubbed. Hope this Lego build goes well and the weather is nice down there. Thank you, Lord Crashington. It did rain today as I was on a walk, but it was a fine rain. Let's do the Bear Cave Lego the site the moat and thank Lord Crashington for renewing 24 months. Lord Crashington, that's 2 years. Epic Open World beats you by 1 month with 2 years and 1 month, but 2 years and just over 2 years is ridiculous. Thank you for your continued support. I appreciate it so much. You know, Monday the 19th will be my 4-year anniversary. It's technically the 20th, but we're going to celebrate it on the 19th because I'm not going to do a Tuesday stream. I'm going to celebrate on Monday. So observed is my 4-year streaming anniversary, and you've been there as a consistent subscriber for half of that, both of you, and I thank you very much for that, for your continued support. Yeah, we're going to talk about anime tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit about conventions. Are we going to talk about the bad Kickstarter? Yes. I don't have a lot to say about the bad Kickstarter, but we do need to talk about the bad Kickstarter because there have been a couple of developments. I tweeted about them, but I do want to also chat about them. I want to keep up to date with it, and then also people in my Twitter feed are talking about it, so I am up to date with it. And it's just good. It's just good to talk about it. Anyway, I'm going to retweet my tweet. We're going to finish a Lego set. We are finishing the Lego 3-in-1 Mighty Dinosaurs by finishing this pterodactyl, and then we're moving on to the Gundam Barbatos, the only high grade from Iron Blood Orphans that I haven't built yet. I don't know why I didn't get this when I was going through all the Iron Blood Orphans kits. It's probably Probably the reason why I didn't get this kit then was because I was building the 1/100 scale, the non-grade 1/100s that were then later called full mechanics. But some of the early ones weren't even called that; they were just non-grades. I built a lot of those, so I didn't really build the high grades of the stuff I could build in 100 because I prefer 100 over 144. That's just me. But anyway, I'm going to retweet my tweet, see if we get a few people come in because we are going to, of course, start with Lego. Before we actually begin, promotion. This Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/PAX2, hosted here in this stream. If you don't want to watch it on at PAX2, you can watch it here because I will host it. I will not be in chat, but you can watch it here. It is Pat Bear's Anime Club yelling about the shows we love, featuring myself, of course, Ian Horner, and Heather Derry. They are my guests. They are both from Loading Ready Run. They have podcasted it in the past about anime. They are from anime clubs and have certainly Ian was in an improv group that was heavily in that was basically did anime conventions in Canada. Oh right, PAX is happening. I forgot. Yes, Epic World. This weekend there is PAX. Now, am I asking you to not watch the Thursday night like live panel, like literally live, that features Nextlander and people from Dan and Mike and Mary's podcast, whose name the Fireside? I don't remember what it's called. It's their joint actually live panel. I'm saying don't watch that on Thursday live and watch my stream and then watch it later in the archive, because they'll archive it. But watch mine when it happens this Friday. It's hosted here. I'm doing it. We recorded it in the past. Fire Escape Cast. Thank you, Lord Grashington. Not Fireside. Fire Escape Cast. But yeah, watch that. It's going to be good. It will be on my YouTube on Monday. But why not a week from tonight? But why not watch it live? I mean, why not watch it as it premieres? Watch the premiere. Live is the wrong term. Watch the premiere. It was recorded, and so I can tell you that it's good. It's slightly over an hour, which I was told was fine, and I didn't need to edit it. We'll see, but the unedited version will definitely be on my YouTube because I already uploaded it. So we're going to work on this pterodactyl, and you can see we got a little bit of it done. Now we're doing I believe we are doing like the bases of the wings, but we can do this at the same time. So we will do these two at a time, which is great. Also, I'm gonna in the things where I listed things we'll talk about tonight, I didn't mention this, but we're gonna start here with an announcement, and I'm gonna announce this here on stream first. It's not a big deal, but it is something that's happening. I am going to call an audible and stop doing Bear With Me, my Wednesday video series where I react to things. Now, this was supposed to be a year-long project. The very first year, I did improvised characters called backgrounded characters, where I grabbed a random image off the internet and then improvised a character based on that image with the background. I did that for a year. The next year, which was in year 2020, I did a video series called Bearing the List, where I took I ranked things. I took lists off Tiermaker. I made my own lists. And I ranked things, and I did that for a year, which I enjoyed. But I am this year. The idea was I was going to do reaction videos. The problem is I don't like doing it, and it's July, and I don't want to keep doing it. One of the problems that have come up is people don't want you to react to their videos. Not everybody, but a lot of people don't want you to do that. And it makes sense, and I get that. And yes, it is transformative. Yes, it is commentary. Yes, it is totally like a thing I can do. But especially also because I should say this is not related to Bear With Me, but is a thing that happened is I got content ID'd for an old 404ing it video from the year 2013. And it's my second ever content strike. And copyright strike. And I don't want to get more of those, and I don't want to risk getting more of those with Bear With Me. So I'm going to leave Bear With Me up. They're going to live on my YouTube, but I'm going to instead pivot. Okay, now how do these connect? Does this look like this? These go in here like this. Okay, I'm going to pivot to a different video series, and I'll tell you what those are right now. Epic World says you should do last episode of reacting to the news of the project is ending, including picture-in-picture of the announcements. So I guess Epic Open World, I could react to this video where I'm reacting to the news that I am no longer doing that. Epic Open World, I think I'm going to do that. Even this now will be a thing that I react to where I say, oh yeah, this is the part where Epic Open World gave me the idea for the video I'm doing right now. I hate that I didn't come up with that, and I appreciate you doing this. I love those super late content ID hits. Yeah, I mean, look, I had licensed music. I had a montage of licensed music. Eventually, it was going to happen in that video, so I was expecting it. I have been... So the thing with this series, and we'll say... this is the point where we'll probably end the video that I'm going to do. I'll give a shout out to Exia, who gave me the idea, the name, the spelling of Bear Cave. Originally, just said Baercave. Welcome to the Bear Cave. And he was like, shouldn't it be spelled Caev? Which it should have. And I said, you're right. It always has been spelled that way. So Jason, thank you very much out there for giving me that name. And Epic Open World, thank you for giving me the idea that my last Bear With Me should be me reacting to the news that I'm stopping the series. So this Wednesday will be the final Bear With Me, and it will be a reaction video. And then next week, check in for the start of a new series, which is... And I guess I should, I said I was going to end it, but I guess I'm going to end it so what the new series is. Please enjoy the best of Build With Baer. I'll say that again, and I'll edit it. Coming next week, the best of Build With Baer Workshop. So that's the next thing I'm going to be doing. And actually, this works because this is a clip of me talking on stream. So it is technically a good transition between the two series. But yeah, so starting next week, I am going to be putting up clips of the streams. It'll be the workshop streams. It will be my bonus streams. And it'll be stuff that some of you have seen because you lived it, because you're here, which is rad. Thank you very much for being here. But some of the stuff it might be things that you don't remember or you weren't here live for. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you ever, Pat Bear new series ranking the anime days, like and subscribe. Yeah, no. I mean, they come up in discussion, but no, I think I'm done ranking. That's actually not true. I have a Pat Bear's Anime Club coming up. It won't be about titties, but it will be ranking. I am going to rank stuff coming up. I'm going to use Tier Maker in a Pat Bear's Anime Club, because why not? Because my most successful bearing the list is me ranking characters, like using Tier Maker for characters in Dragon Maid. For whatever reason, that did incredibly well. It's the most popular one I ever did, and I don't know why. It also has the most dislikes of any video I've ever put up, so that's fun. But it's got the views, so I don't give a shit. It doesn't have nasty comments. It just has dislikes. It's like, fine, you can dislike it all you want. Thanks for watching. So yeah, let me explain a little bit about what this is going to be. I am going to actually there'll be small little chunks of just like funny moments, silly moments, interesting moments. Maybe some talking to camera. Maybe it's me ranting a bit. I will also endeavor to bake in hard subtitles because I don't have anything subtitled for my live stuff, and I should. Small clips, there's a service that I'm going to be using that for small clips, they will they have like predictive AI closed captioning that you can then edit, so you're not starting from scratch. And for a 30-second clip, a 20-second clip, that's really simple and easy to do. The longer videos would take much longer and time I don't have, so that's why I don't have subtitles for those. Also, generally it's about getting them up as quick as possible. So, for these videos, they will have baked-in subtitles. Which I'm excited to be able to offer in the future for that. So yeah, that's going to start next week because I am going to go ahead and do that thing that Epic World suggested, where so I got to make that tomorrow so that I can send it out. But yes, my last one will be me reacting to the news that I'm ending the series. Honestly, it was really hard to find clips that I want to talk about that I would like, because I wanted genuine, honest reactions. I would have to record it, and then sometimes I recorded it and I didn't like it, so I didn't upload those. And some videos I uploaded and they didn't, they got blocked on mobile, or they got blocked in the US, or they got muted. Like not just the audio that I was reacting to, my own audio, so it was completely muted. And it's like, well, I'm not putting any of that on the internet. This is a good idea, Pat. I enjoy supercuts of streams. Some streamers have stopped watching their regular streams, just watch their supercuts. Yeah, so it's not going to be like long videos of like the weekend, that. But so it'll be just short little content, because I think that's fun to do that weekly. And maybe I will compile them eventually to do like supercuts of, here's like a supercut of me talking about anime, and it's like a bunch of those clips strung together. Or here's a supercut of me like, my cooking streams. Like, and I might do that. These are going to be kind of bite size. Also, they'll be good for me to put on Twitch and not Twitch, Twitter natively instead of a YouTube embed. I can upload the video without it being a problem. So I will be looking to do that as well. And yeah, I'm excited about it. It'll be a little different, but it's a thing that I'm excited to do, which I can't necessarily say about the previous video series, which was a fun idea, which I think peaked when I did my reactions to X-Arm and then chopped that up into an episode. I think I peaked like in the second or third one, which is bad. That shouldn't be the case. So that's the big Pat Baer news. I'm going to do a different videos than I did previously. I'm going to switch things up. This was going to be the thing I did next year, so I'm just jumping it. But I do have a document of ideas. So I do have something next year, and it does have a good name. So next year's video content will happen. There'll be a project next year, and I'm just jumping in with the best of Build with Baer. I think I'm going to call it that. I'm going to drop the workshop for that, because it's also going to be gaming streams and such. So I should say this. While you're watching, if you ever see something you like, clip it. Because I look at the clips, I delete clips sometimes that, like, I don't know why someone clipped that. It doesn't make any sense. But if you like something, you can clip it, and then it'll be easy for me to, honestly, downloading clips as the person that's putting these VODs up, downloading clips off Twitch is really easy, and it's so much easier than me going into the source file and trying to find the thing. Or honestly, using the highlights is tough. But if you want to grab a 30-second clip or a minute-long clip of something that you think is good, that you liked, I can take that and then I can edit it down on my own outside of Twitch. So clip it if you like it. As a friend of mine says, clip it. That's the ticket. So yeah, if you ever see something you're like, ooh, that's funny, Pat, or that's interesting, or well, that was a disaster, feel free to do that, because I do look at them, and eventually I will run out of clips I know are good, and I will need help finding them. But I'm also like, the goal is that I will be remembering the clips or the show, and go, okay, what was good about this stream, and going in and grabbing them as fast as I can. Oops, this is the wrong piece. So that's the plan anyway. And I definitely can do less than 6 months of these. I'm pretty sure I can. Also, hey to everybody that's joined in. I am very pleased to see you, because, of course, thank you so much to everybody that came here on Saturday but it wasn't that many of you. We had a definitely a small, chill night. It was one of the lower attended streams. It's okay. No, I certainly much more enjoy when you all are here. Also, one of the first clips I'm going to use in the new series is from Saturday because I just think it's a funny bit. Um, so I'm going to include it, which is great because people will see it for the first time because not many y'all were here on Saturday, and it's okay that you weren't. As I said, that's all right. Um, okay, we've dicked around long enough. It's time to talk about a bad Kickstarter. Now, I got accused in a private DM, so I will not, of course, show that or anything. But somebody, because my DMs are open, sent me a DM saying that I was obsessed with this story and I need to grow up, which I replied to, saying, um, sometimes you have to look at a like an accident on the highway and you can't look away. And you feel bad about looking at it, but you can't not look at it. And that's how I feel about Anime Tube, the Kickstarter that oh, so you met the founder. Yes. The Kickstarter that at best is full of incredibly naive people, but under further scrutiny is at most people associated with the founder of this company are naive, and the founder of this group is certainly aware that they are running a scam, trying to use people's one a genuine need for better streaming apps because the major studios do not have good apps for streaming content legally. Um, so there is a need for a service like this, but really just trying to do the us versus them, like, oh, I'm a small company. We're a smaller group. We're running Kickstarter. You're our backers. You're our investors, and we're taking on Sony. And to a lot of people, that sounds fucking rad, which is also very funny because a lot of the same people that are excited about this um, don't play indie games. They just play big budget games on like a PlayStation. Uh, so they could support the little guy in many ways and don't. But in this instance, they definitely want to. Um, and so I do find that kind of endearing and also very annoying. So it's honestly a mixed bag. You sure it wasn't Tommy Tellerico and he thought you were tweeting about the Intellivision? No, it was not. It was not Tommy. No, 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 no. I mean, so look, does this person also, much like Tommy Tellerico, want to delete criticism? Sure, they do. Anyway, if you haven't been keeping up with the saga, they launched a Kickstarter that was clearly full of, at best, naivete, at worst, flat out lies. They had to keep pulling back and changing things. They edited it constantly. It was going through this whole thing. And then eventually, uh, I believe on Friday, yes, because it was, yeah, Friday, their project was suspended by Kickstarter. And I don't know, you wouldn't necessarily need to know this, but I'll tell you. Um, you don't come back. I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen Tommy trying to start beef with Giant Bomb. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Um, you'd think eventually he would. Um, so you don't come back from a suspension with Kickstarter. If you've been suspended by Kickstarter, that's it. People get refunded, or they're not necessarily refunded because they haven't actually taken the money, but they their pledges are suspended and returned, and it's done. Nobody will see that money. It's not going to come back. It's not locked, but it's not, so they can still access and update it, and change it. But for all intents and purposes, this Kickstarter is over. So they posted something in the updates. Basically, they put an update out saying, "Hey, we are aware that this has happened. We are going to work with Kickstarter to fix this. Don't worry. Um, we have 2 days to plead our case." Well, it's been over 2 days and nothing has changed. They deleted their Twitter. And now there's there's two sides to this. They claim they have not deleted their Discord. They claim that their Discord is still there. But many people are like, well, then you kicked me off the Discord. And they were like, yes. Uh, do they have any venture capital backing it? No. No Epic Open World. They originally, in an original Kickstarter, where they had a lot of things that was only up for a few days, they raised $60,000 out of 200 and something $1,000. And then they were like, we're taking this down, back the new one. And they made the new one $50,000, which is obviously less than what they had raised the first time, with the idea of expanding. But they said, no, we don't have any venture capital. We're going to raise the funds on Kickstarter. So it's a scam. It's just a scam. Don't worry about it. It's just a scam. Here's our pterodactyl. Our pterodactyl is done. I'm going to take a photo of this, and then we'll clean up, and we'll get ready to work on the Barbatos, which is great. But yeah, we're done with the pterodactyl. This was a fun kit to build. Like that. And I'm going to take a photo of it. Lego out of here. So that was the original one. Then they canceled that. They started this new one. It got a lot of attention. They listed a bunch of things that shows they were in talks with, which doesn't mean anything. And they were lying about that. And then they were like, we didn't mean in talks. We meant these are things that people wanted us to say. Because the people would, like, in their Discord would be like, hey, we would like to, you should have this show. And they were like, cool. And they just got added to this list. Anyway, that list got taken down because people were like, you're not in talks with anybody. What are you doing? And they're like, well, you're US. Why do we talk to you? And it's like, well, because they have distribution rights in the United States for the anime you're mentioning. What's happening? So they got rid of their, gotta put all these extra pieces here. Either they closed their Discord or they booted a lot of anyone that joined the Discord in the past couple days because they assumed that a lot of them were trolls, because some of them, they're not trolls, but there were people who were like, you can back it, get Kickstarter or get Discord access, and then cancel your backing so you can join the Discord and take screen caps of their lives. Because that's the thing. They're like, oh, they're taking photos of chat logs. Well, what are your chat logs? Empty promises and lies? So yeah, they're taking photos of that. Well, you're lying though, and you're not saying you're not lying. That you're not like, oh, they're editing chat logs. You're just like, yeah, they're using our words against us. It's like, yeah, they are. Weren't they going to go on a trip to Japan to try to get deals done? Yes, they're going to go to Japan to get deals done in like a couple months. Like their plan was basically like this app that they're not going to be able to build in time. They were like, yeah, it'll take like, I don't know, a couple weeks to do licensing deals. And it's like, what are you talking about? As of 2 days ago, they were claiming on their Facebook page, which still exists. They still have a Facebook page at the time of this stream. They still have a Facebook page. They were claiming that they expected to be able to work things out with Kickstarter and they were going to come back. Basically the same thing they said in their Kickstarter, but they haven't updated that. They did reply to people being like, well, what happens? And they're like, because some people still want to believe, right? They want to buy into the thing. They're like, well, do I have to redo it? And they're like, yeah, when the Kickstarter comes back, you're going to have to reapply. You're going to have to re-donate or whatever. And some of those people did the first time and the second time. So this will be the third time, which it's not going to be. But here's the kicker. As we get ready to move on to the Barbatos, which is a cool Gundam from Iron-Blooded Orphans, Gundam Wing, the Barbatos. We're going to get into that. I'm going to tell you the kicker. So they have a website. And if you go to their website, they basically they talk about all their stuff. They don't link to the Kickstarter because you don't want to link to the Kickstarter, but they still have their Kickstarter video because, you know, they ostensibly paid someone to do that. Hopefully that person got paid. I know the Merryweather motion comic thing was, well, they did actually pay Merryweather because Merryweather gave the money back. I don't think these people understand how licensing deals work. John Drake is laughing at the idea they have deals in a couple of weeks. Yes. MTG Ranger, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome. You're just in time for some model kit building. No, Epic Open World. So the thing is, they're banking on other people not understanding how licensing works because they're not talking to anyone. They're talking to someone like their man on the inside in Japan is not someone in the anime industry. They're just somebody who does like licensing that works for like a company that is like, oh, this looks cool. Like that's their man on the inside who they don't even list. Like the thing is, the saving grace for the other employees that are like testers and community managers are those people, if they exist, don't have their last names associated with all this, and they don't have their images associated with all of this. So they're actually looking good as far as people hopefully will never know they had anything to do with this. So good for them for not putting their names and faces out there, other than the guy who is clearly a scam artist and going to move on to find another scam. Speaking of which, they do have another scam, and it's called their VIP membership mailing list. They have a regular mailing list that's free. You can just join their regular mailing list. But if you want to be part of the VIP mailing list, you have to spend $1 via credit card, not PayPal. You got to spend $1. Your name and email address, first name, last name, email address, credit card. Put that information in there. Spend $1, and you join their VIP membership mailing list. They realize they're never going to get any Kickstarter money. Also, I should point this out because I think I said this on Saturday. I didn't say it on Thursday. None of their breakdown of the money had mentioned that the money that Kickstarter takes out for their fees, and also didn't mention the money that the processing of doing credit card processing, that's also money that comes out of it. They also don't mention having to pay the fulfillment service for their rewards, or do they mention that the money goes to the rewards? So where does that money come from? They don't mention it because I don't even think people were going to get any physical rewards in the future, because nothing was ever going to happen with it. But you have to mention that, like, part of the money you raise is supposed to go to fulfill your obligations, and they didn't include any of that. So it was just like, oh, there are like, none of that stuff is real. None of those rewards are going to go out to people. Yeah, it's a huge scam. It's an obvious huge scam. The VIP membership sounds like a scam that is Star Citizen. So Epic Open World, I don't know if Star Citizen is a scam. Star Citizen is I don't know if they're going to put out I think the people working on Star Citizen want to make a product, whereas I don't think the people in AnimeTube actually have any intention of making anything. They just want to take money from people. And those people they want to take money for in this case are anime fans. And they're just, yeah. So that's my opinion anyway. Whereas I do believe Star Citizen, the people that in that company do want to make something. I don't know if they ever will, but they do want to. But yeah, you can just give more money to that. But this is, like I said, this is just a clear scam. Whoa! Hey, we just got a big old raid from Micah Tech. Welcome. Welcome, raiders, to the old Build With Baer Workshop. My name's Pat Baer. Welcome, everybody. Happy to have you here. This is the Build With Baer Workshop. We just finished up a Lego set. We're now working on a model kit here. So I hope you stick around. Working the old Barbatos. Thank you for the follow. This is the Barbatos kit. Let me double check. I can't remember what year this kit came out. It's 2015 kit. So you're gonna see some English in this. Not a lot. This is actually like kind of when they started putting more and more English. Oh, Micah Tech, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And also A-Stay, thank you for the follow. Welcome. But yeah, so this is from 2015. Now, I built a lot of these kits, but I really focused on the the larger, the full mechanics, the 1/100 scale, and not the 144 high grades. And I think I just never built this one. Well, last 2020 and 2021 have been a little light on new high grades. So I wanted to build this. And, it came up and I was like, oh, I don't think I ever built that. I'm going to pick it up. Because, yeah, unless you're just buying all of the premium kits that come out, it's been a bit of a rough year for model kits. We're getting some, and I did pre-order some of them. So new stuff is coming, and some of the new stuff is interesting, like the new full mechanics line, which is really just that Calamity is just, in my opinion, it looks like an RE100 kit more than but they're calling him full mechanics now. They're basically reusing an old name instead of using the RE100, which is probably for the best because RE100 is a weird name. The new battle log looks interesting. Yeah, the new battle. So I pre-ordered. I didn't get it obviously yet. I pre-ordered two of them. I've got the Live Lance Heaven because it's basically a shattered glass. To borrow a Transformers term, it is a bit of the old shattered glass, and I really like the idea of that. So it's like going for a little Transformers thing because it's the opposite of the Death Scythe Hell. It's the Life Lance Heaven, and I thought that was cool. And also the Barbatos that is the Barbatorus, which is the. Do I have a photo of that in here? I might have that. I do. That's the Barbatorus. I'm just going to show you this real quick here, and we'll get back to building. That's just a Barbatos with 4 legs, and I'm going to build that at some point this year. And it's got beautiful, cool colors, and it's got a tail. Of course, I'm going to build that. That's weird in a way that I'm really into. Of course, I'm going to pick that kit up. Oops, this is what we were doing. And for folks that are new, I built Death Scythes on this stream. If there's a Death Scythe, I build it. Or if it's a variant of a Death Scythe, I build it. And that also extends apparently to if it's a weird inverted Death Scythe. But yeah, it's been a little late on new kits this year, so I've been picking up what I can. I've been picking up old kits. I got a Zaku from the year 2002 to build at some point this year. Zaku High Grade, the Zaku FS. So that's going to be weird. Just feels like a very old kit. I'm excited to put that together. Remember what high grades looked like in 2002. 20-year-old kit. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to find stuff to build that go through my backlog of just old stuff. And a few things that just like slipped through the cracks and didn't really build. Like I always liked Gundam Seed, but I didn't really like a lot of the kits. I mean, look, obviously I like the Blitz because it is clearly a take on the Death Scythe. But yeah, I never loved all of the Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny kits that were out there. So I've been slow to build them, and I'm picking them up here and there. The strikes are cool. I've got a Strike Noir high grade that I bought like in December and still haven't built. So eventually I will build that, but it's been on the back burner. I'm going to assemble these pieces here, and then before we attach it, I will panel line it. I'm kind of panel lining as I go. For folks that are new, also thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I am kind of doing the quick and dirty method of it with markers. I just kind of hit all the areas and then clean it up with an eraser. I don't prep anything. I don't clean anything. I'm doing one snip on. For high grades, I'm doing one snip. If I'm doing a master grade, I might do a 2-snip method or 2 clips. Use 2 different nippers. But for this, I'm just doing one. I'm trying to get as close as possible. If I do any sanding, it is usually after the stream. I don't do it during it. These are more about getting them done and taking a look at it and hanging out. Lastbrook says, so on the subject of anime controversies, I found out people have been digitizing old VHS fan sub tapes to archive.org, including episodes of the infamous Anime Labs DBZ fan sub. Ooh. Ooh, wow. So archive.org is always interesting. They're always an interesting thing because they archive things that are like, yeah, archiving VHS fan subs is a thing that like I didn't know they were doing, but also of course they are doing that. Like, of course that's being archived. Um, the convention archives there are actually really interesting. You can find like handy cam recorded panels from really old, like comic conventions, like fan conventions. It's some really interesting stuff, and then a bunch of stuff that like people are just like know that a convention's airing on Twitch or something and just ripping whatever they can. Um, that's kind of interesting. I didn't Lastbrook, I'm gonna have to investigate that because that was some of my favorite scene drama. Was like people talking mess. I really want to find because I don't remember the name of. Well, I know the show. I can figure out the show if I think about it. Oh, Shadow Skill. Yes, the show was Shadow. Try saying that. The show was Shadow Skill. And the I don't remember the name of the fan subgroup that did it, but I do remember vividly that their own credits that aired at the end of the tape. So after the anime closing credits, they had their credits. They didn't superimpose them, which I always thought was shitty. Don't erase other people's work credits, just put your own credits on top. So they had their own credits, and their own credits was with the theme of Highlander, Princes of the Universe by Queen. Um, and I thought that was, at the time, I thought that was fucking awesome. I remember that being very fucking cool to me. Um, uh, I wonder if there's anything they won't let you upload to their site, honestly. Last week, I don't know. I wonder if adult content, if they try to age gate that or put it so it's up there, but it's hard to access. I'm not sure. Well, it's nearly 4 a.m. here, so I'm out. Wish you a fun stream and a nice evening. Well, same to you. Thank you very much for the follow. I build Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. On Wednesdays, we do gaming here. So feel free to come back another time. And thanks so much for stopping in. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. What's happening here? Trying to do these ridges is not, it's not taking ink here, which is fine. This gold doesn't really need a marker, but oh, that's working. Okay. Um, so yeah, Lastberg, I didn't know that, but that's interesting. Yeah. So I want to find out the name of the group that decided that they were so awesome that they were going to use Princes of the Universe as their like over their own credits. Harold's hosting the stream. Welcome, Harold. Thank you for the host. Happy to have you here, my friend. We got a big old raid that came through, which is rad. Uh, Thank you to Mike Tech for that. Appreciate it. And welcome Raiders. Thank you for the people that have stuck around to hear me talk about whatevs. Harold also cheered 35. Thank you so much, Harold. Harold is, of course, at the top of the cheering leaderboard, which is great and always appreciated. But yeah, that's interesting to think about. Like, I have fond memories of the DBZ fan subs. I'd also be interested to see if people are putting up the terrible um, direct translations from Babelfish that were used for. Hey, if you're anywhere near the age of me, and certainly younger, but if you're around my age, even a little older, a little younger, you may remember the dawn of people getting access to burning DVDs and anime DVDs, like fan sub DVDs, where you could put 10 episodes on one DVD of an anime. And how do you get those 10 on there? Well, you don't know how to translate properly because neither Japanese nor English is your first language. Um, so you just do whatever you can. And so you're translating the names of characters if they mean something in English. So you've got, Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're calling uh, Yami is dark and Yugi is game. So you're translating those. Your Dragon Ball is translating characters' names into vegetables. Ooh, it's real bad. Initial D, they didn't screw up too much. But I remember they got some of the cars completely wrong, and I would be like, "What car are they talking about?" And I'd have to listen for the Japanese and then try to figure it out myself. So that was tough. Um, uh, not Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho. I eventually, because I have Funimation, eventually one of the reasons I first subscribed to Funimation years ago was so I could rewatch all of the Dark Tournament or the later stuff after this, the second tournament of Yu Yu Hakusho, because the fan subs I watched were very poor and hard to understand. So I ended up eventually watching them all again with the Funimation subtitles so I could actually know what was happening. I mean, you get the sense of it. It's fights, but like, character names and dialogue. Man, it takes me back to watching end of Evangelion movie poster stamp size. Took me like a day to do on my 56K modem. Oh yeah, I mean, so to keep up with the day. So like when I moved to New York, this was in the year 2001. I moved to New York, and for the first month and a half that I lived there, I didn't have an apartment of my own. I wasn't renting anything from anybody. I didn't know where to live, right? So just to get me and get me in the door and get my foot started, I rented a room from friends of someone that like somebody like a friend of a friend of a friend had this room in their apartment because their kids were grown and they rented it to people that like month to month that just needed a place. It was like $100 a month. You had access to the kitchen, and but they didn't have internet. And they had a phone, but I didn't have a phone jack in the room, so I couldn't even use dial-up or like DSL or anything like that. So I didn't know what to do. I ended up going because thankfully at this time, because this is 2001, there was still and they're still around there, but this is a big one. On 42nd Street between 7th and 8th Avenue, there was an internet cafe. So after school, because I was going to acting school, I would, and of course I had my phone, but this is pre-iPhone. There wasn't data plans or whatever like that. So I would go to school, and then I would go to this internet cafe, and I would get caught up on stuff and hang out. And also, one of the things I did at this anime cafe um, was I would go and order CDs with DivX videos on them from this person who was in college who had a T1 in college and would download torrents of anime. They weren't doing the fan subbing; they were just torrenting, and you could pay them. So every time there'd be a new disc, you could be like, "Hey, give me the next disc of Honey and Clover." So yeah, there were DivX files, and of course I would have to then also at this internet cafe try to download updates to DivX because every once in a while um, there'd be an update and like an update would break like the video player that I had, which because I couldn't update it myself because I didn't have internet. So eventually you'd have to be like, hey, my DivX like my DivX broke or whatever. And then eventually that person who was doing this mail, because yes, DivX was totally great at the time. Also, um, media mail was a thing. I sound like such an old person, but it's fine. I don't care. I mean, this is old technology. Media mail was a thing. So sending CDs, what's up, words maybe? Happy to have you here. Sending CDs in the mail was very cheap. So basically, you were just paying this person a little bit of money to kind of spread things. Uh, you could get anytime they filled a disc with new anime, you could just get all the new episodes. But there were sending out stuff that I didn't care about, so I would just wait for there to be a new disc in whatever show I wanted, and then I would get caught up and I'd watch those episodes over and over again. Um, USPS still does media mail, yeah, but at last week this was like very inexpensive to just put because basically you just got the CD case, you slot it in a little envelope or paper case, the CD, and you send it out, and it was incredibly inexpensive. They still have media mail. This was the start of media mail, and so it was reasonable to be able to do this. Like if you wanted to keep up on anime, you could do that. So that's what I did until I eventually moved into a place where we had internet access. We had I think the first place I moved into that was actually like I was paying rent to somebody and I was on a lease. I think we had DSL, so I was able to like do that and get and and to start download. And then I was able to start torrenting my own anime. I didn't have to worry about paying someone to do it. Eventually, that person was probably going to graduate from college, and who knows if they were going to keep doing their thing because they were just using their college internet to do this small business they had. Who knows? But I mean, yeah, eventually I was able to start torrenting my own anime and everything was cool. Uh, I never did IRC channels for downloading. I never downloaded raw stuff on like torrents, just like, get it as it's airing on broadcast in Japan. People would put the raw up, then people would grab the torrents. I never did that. I had a friend way back in the day that he had a very good job and he would fund anime stuff. He would fund subbing. He would pay for, this is how long ago that was. It was years and years ago. He would pay for OVAs that were on Laserdisc. So they got the best quality possible. He would pay for the Laserdisc, spend like $40 for like 2 or 3 episodes on Laserdisc, to import it, pay all the fees to import it, and then send it to the subbers so that he would get and then of course with the idea that they would distribute that, but he would be paying for the work to get done basically, um, because he was paying the upfront cost for them to get it, and then he would get the best version, right? So it was only one generation old because it was like whatever VHS tape they were putting these, they're using machines to add their own script and timing of the fan subs onto the VHS tape, and that he would get basically a version of the master, like as close as possible, because obviously they're making the master, and then they were making first generation copies to then send to people. So technically they're second generation, but whatever. It was the best you could get. So he would do that for a series that he liked if it was like an OVA and not on television, because eventually, everybody just got the subs or the raw, and then because in Japan, people would just have TV tuners hooked up to their computers so they could record directly off television, uh, which was way better quality than recording on VHS tape. Because that's when you watch old Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z that still include the commercials. That's people taping off of television on the VHS, or if you're lucky, Super VHS. If you're lucky, they're using that and they're using the highest possible new tape to then send it out. But yeah, if you ever got very bad VHS dubs or subs, fan subs, it was most likely that you were getting uh, 3 or 4th generation copies of copies where the source material was taped off television. Because maybe you were getting home VHS that someone was using as a source, but that was pretty rare. Uh, God, it was a whole thing, folks. Like honestly, like even the torrenting things was an incredible leap forward in watching pirated anime. And then of course like sites like Kiss Me and all that, Kiss Me made it even easier because you didn't have to torrent. You just had to figure out a way to not have a virus on your computer or having all of your data tracked on those sites. But you could make it work eventually if you worked very hard on it. You could figure that out. Um, but then and like there are people who are like, hey, this show already aired in Japan 2 hours ago. Why is it not up on Funimation or Crunchyroll? Like, hey, how come this brand new show didn't like that doesn't have a page yet that's live with like links? How come this isn't up? It's like, y'all, come on. Sometimes you had to wait forever. Sometimes your fan sub group that you liked, they were the good group that was doing a show you wanted to watch. Sometimes they gave up on the show you wanted fan subs of. They just gave up on it. They were like, you know what, we're not going to work on this anymore. Our contact isn't there, or we had a fight, and so we're not doing it anymore, and we're going to move on to this other show. And so you had to go to other, I mean, back in the day before torrenting, you had to find other people and hope that one of the other groups was going to pick it up, because maybe multiple groups were doing the same show, so you could still do it. It was an absolute like crapshoot, and it was very tough. I'm trying to get this head on right, and this is giving me some issues because I'm trying to get the eyes right and the head on right here. Running into some problems. So I'm gonna keep trying this. The head is always my least favorite part of any model kit assembly, because I am always constantly second guessing myself, and the pieces are tiny for my little hands, or my big hands, I should say. Got big hands and the pieces are tiny. Okay, there we go. Got that on. That's right. The Barbatos, you gotta see the eyes from the side. All right, well, I got one part on, so the other part should come on pretty fast. It did. Great. And we'll just pinch that, make sure the head is on. It is. Great. Where sites were so sketchy back in the day. Oh, totally. You really had, like, that's the thing about torrenting, right? Because, you know, of course, there were the big torrent sites, right? The big ones that listed everything. And then, you know, you use that until they had to get a different host or whatever, and something happened and they suddenly disappeared. But you could still find the stuff on the bigger ones, right? But eventually, just like music sites and all that, you could get into private forums for anime. And then you knew when stuff was being seeded by the people that seeded it before it ended up on Pirate Bay. So you could just get the good shit like from them, and it may take longer, but then you were helping. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to do that, and of course, yeah, websites that were doing it, you always had to be very hopeful that you were getting the right thing and you weren't getting like scammed or whatever. And then of course there were sites. The scam that anime YouTube would be doing then is the scam of the well, we have paid membership for our forum, and then you get in there and they're just listing the same torrents that you could get for free. They don't have any insider information. They're just a scam site. I never paid to join one of those because I never needed to. Even when I was trying to track stuff down that was hard to find, I was still like, no, I know enough people. I don't need this shit. I don't believe you. It just, it definitely did feel like a scam. Anyway, what's not a scam is a pause for the cause. We're going to take a little bit of a break here from building. It's a short break. I'm going to talk to you about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined. All of what I'm about to tell you is optional, but especially because we had this raid and we had some new friends here, I do want to take a moment to promote some stuff that I'm up to. Basically, this would be like my commercial break if I had like sponsors or took commercials, which I don't. So I'm my own sponsor, and you're going to listen to me talk for a couple minutes, and then we'll get back to working on this Barbatos, and we'll actually talk about 2 anime shows that are new instead of talking about old weird anime. We'll talk about anime I watched legally through a website that I have a subscription to. Anyway, this Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/PAX2, I am doing Pat Bear's Anime Club. Pat Bear's Anime Club is a YouTube series that I do, but it's also a live show that I did at conventions when you could still go to conventions in person. I'm taking part of PAX Online, which is the online PAX, not the one in Seattle that's happening later this year that probably definitely shouldn't, but I'm doing the online one. We recorded this in advance with Ian Horner and Heather Derry. They are also anime olds like me, from Loading Ready Run, and we're going to talk about anime. The premise of the show is, you know how there's that show that you're watching that you wish your friends would watch, and you keep talking about it and they don't watch it, and then like 7, 8 months, a year later, they go, how come no one told me about Super Cub? And you're like, I did tell you about Super Cub. You didn't listen. That's what this show is. It's us recommending anime that we're very passionate about, that we're like, just please watch it. And maybe you'll hear us talk about a show that you have been championing, or maybe you're going to find your next favorite anime. But we're going to air that. We recorded it in advance. We're going to air that this Friday, the 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on my YouTube on Monday, so a week from tonight, but you can watch it there on Twitch. And I hope you do, because it's going to be fun. Anyway, if you're currently a subscriber, why don't you throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote? I am an affiliate, so people can subscribe. And I have some cool emotes. My tier 2 emote is me as a Death Scythe. And then I have a Lego version of me. And then, of course, you're part of the Bear Cave. If you're here, you're a member of the Bear Cave. Even if you don't follow, even if this is your last time watching me stream, even if you didn't notice that Mike Attack raided and you're just like, wait, what am I watching right now? You're part of the Bear Cave, and I thank you for being here. So if you're a subscriber, you can throw those emotes in. Subscribing is an easy way to support what I do because it's just $5. You can use your Twitch gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with Twitch, you get you get this token and you can use. And if you're not using it for me, please use it for somebody, because that is great. We will get back to building, but I am just gonna, I gotta do my ad reads. I gotta try to get you to subscribe maybe, or perhaps you could join my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. If $5 a month doesn't work for you, maybe $1 or $3. I got different tiers. If you're a if you're a $3, $5, or $10 patron, also vote on what you want me to play on Wednesday. I put that link out there, and Jackbox is winning, which is fun, but also I was surprised that was winning. But yeah, so check that out. But yeah, I have a Patreon. You can check that out if that's something you're interested in looking at. I have a YouTube channel where I post video content all the time for free, of course, and subscribing on YouTube is free. Also, folks watching this later on YouTube, what's up? But did you know that there are memberships? You can hit the join button and you can pay $2 a month, and you'll get one video a day early every time. Every Tuesday, I put out my Wednesday video out for members. So that is a benefit of doing that. That's something you could do. You certainly don't have to, but if you want to, you could subscribe for free or join for money. Also, direct donations. I have some ways to directly donate, because everything I make through here, through AdSense on YouTube, through Patreon, through Twitch, all goes into buying model kits so I can continue to build things. Because, as you know, once you are done with a Gundam, you're done with your Gundam. You can do panel lining, but you're still done with it. So I have to continually buy stuff. I made this choice, but that's the idea, is any money that comes in goes into a fund to continue to buy model kits. So you can do that if you're interested. You can do direct donations. All of these are optional, obviously. The Lego set that I just finished earlier tonight was bought off my Amazon wish list. So you can go to my Amazon wish list and buy something. And I'll shoot a video about the thing you bought, like a special little video on YouTube about the thing you bought. And also it jumps the queue. So if you buy something from my Amazon wish list, I will build it before I build anything in my backlog. So I have inexpensive kits, some Lego stuff. I've got some high grades that are actually priced pretty decently. I've got master grades. I haven't actually looked at this today to order. I try to order it in price from lowest to highest, but sometimes I don't get to do that. Stuff that has like very expensive shipping because it's coming from Japan. Very expensive kits, some tools at the bottom. These are just things you could buy if you wanted to support me. As I said, I would shoot a video about it. If you did, we'll get through this very quickly, folks, and get back to building. I've only got a few more things to mention. An alternative is, so I know that some people they don't want to support Amazon, and I get that. I understand it. It is literally about convenience more than anything else. But you could go to USA Gundam Store and you could buy a gift card, and they send you an email with that gift card code. And then you could send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, and you could be like, hey, here's a gift card code, and I'll use that and buy something for USA Gundam Store. Maybe I'll pre-order something. Maybe I'll buy something that's in back stock. Maybe you can suggest something. But if I buy something with that money, I will treat it just like I would treat any other thing bought off my Amazon wish list. So that is a small token of my thanks. If you want to help me out for free, and a thing that costs no money, you can join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. You get updates in the build photo section. There's a general section where we talk about anime. I plugged some stuff that I'm doing. People talk about things they're excited about, which is really nice and fun. It's a good, it's just like a cool, nice little community. Very chill. Sometimes there's no posts in a day. Sometimes there's like 5 or 6. It's pretty great. Um, so you could do that. Okay, a couple links. I mentioned I've got a Pat Bear's Anime Club that I recorded that's going to go on Twitch, Twitch 2, PAX 2 on Twitch on Friday. My previous video that was not in front of an audience, was not meant for PAX, was just me shooting it. I did on a stream, and it was my spring wrap up, my anime wrap up, and my summer preview. So I talked about some of the shows I was excited about to watch this summer, some that I wasn't. I talked about the shows I liked last season. So if you missed out on the spring anime season, you'd like to hear what I thought of the shows, what my favorites were, what the ones were that I started watching and I was like, this sucks, or that I never started watching because I just knew I wasn't going to like it. But other people did, and I talked about why other people might like it. So that's that video. You can watch that. I am wrapping up a series called Bear With Me, which is me reacting to videos. The Bear With Me, this previous one was me reacting to 2 ferrets. I knew the names of the ferrets, but I didn't know which was which, and that's most of the video. I will have a new Bear With Me coming up this week, which will be my last one because I'm going to start a new weekly series. And that'll be the transition between the two, which will still be pretty cool, I think. Anyway, I'm going to drink a little water, and we're not going to take a break or anything. I'm going to drink a little water, and then I'm going to talk about anime, 2 anime shows that I watched, and maybe you will like me talking about these. Maybe you'll go and check them out. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be like, nope, these do not sound like things I would like to see. Which I understand. Um, let's see. Okay, so we're going to go into that. I'm going to drink a little water, and then we're going to get back to Barbatos building. So, I got about 5 minutes into Dungeon Black Company, or it was Black Dungeon Company? What it's called? I'm going to look it up. Um, I got, let's see, what's the name of that? I got to look it up. The Dungeon of Black Company. That is it's a collection of words that I don't say correctly. The Dungeon of Black Company. I got about 5 minutes in and went, I don't like this character. And I think the point is I won't like him. He's just going to work hard to not work hard anymore. And it's an isekai, and I watch isekai, but I just don't like this guy, and I don't like the vibe of the show. It could turn. He could suddenly become a character that I'm interested in learning more about. The Dungeon of Black Company feels very much like a show that I will come back to towards the end of the season and go, oh, this is good. But right now, was not interested in it, so I did not watch it. It is one of only 3 isekai I will not be watching this season, at least, the first few episodes. The other one being the second season of I'm Standing on a Million Lives because I did not enjoy the first one. I will most likely watch the last episode of the season to see if the mystery has been unraveled yet, because I am very interested in seeing if my prediction about the show is correct or not. I'm going to talk about a character that you're meant to not like. That's the main character. Yikes. And I don't think I'm going to watch Sunny Boy, which it's Madhouse, and Madhouse is fucking awesome, but it is a battle royale style thing, and not by battle royale I don't mean like a PUBG Fortnite battle royale. I mean like the movie battle royale. It is a bunch of students suddenly are in a weird new dimension. They're a bunch of students at the same school, and they all have powers, and it's like, are they going to work together to survive, or are they going to turn on one another? Who knows? One would assume that some will turn on one another, and some will work together to survive. It'll be both. But it did not strike my fancy. I generally don't like those kinds of shows, so I'm not going to watch it. So those are the only 3. All the other isekai I am checking out because they are different levels of interesting. So anyway, Let's talk about an isekai that I'm sure you're not watching, but I would really love you to. It's the second season of Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. They are double-length series. This is going to be 21 episodes. It's in the second half. The previous series was, I believe, 22 or 23 episodes. Maybe it was 25. It was a lot. Um, they move pretty quickly. It is a comedy series, first and foremost. Some people are like, oh, it's not really an isekai. And by that, they mean it's not a traditionally modern isekai in that it's a comedy series about a young man who's 14 years old and gets sold to a demon who wants to have a grandson. So he becomes the demon's grandson. And of course, you got to go to school because he's the chairman of a prestigious demon school. So his grandson has to go. So he has to pretend to be a demon and go to school. And his name is Irma, and he's great. And a lot of the demons are great. And the story is very cute, and it is certainly a comedy. Uh, but it is also certainly an isekai, and it's a good one. And I don't think it gets enough credit. The minor characters are fantastic, and it is an enjoyable show. So, handlining this, most likely I'm going to put either a little blue tack or some liquid cement on this to get this crown to sit properly. Antenna, whatever you want to call it, does not seem to want to sit properly on here. So I know I'm going to be struggling with it, and it's going to be falling off. That is a problem with high grades, especially high grades from Iron-Blooded Orphans. Sometimes these did not want to sit quite right. Anyway, here. So yeah, I might have to blue tack this or liquid cement after the stream, but I'm not going to do it now because I don't have access to that within arm length. Oh, should have done the face before I. Well, actually, I'll just take this off. Gotta do the face here. Gotta get some of the lines of the face. I'm just gonna do the quick and dirty method. Hit it with that, and then hit it with a tissue, and move on. Anyway, so Welcome to Demon School actually, Iruma-kun actually airs on Saturdays, but I have a lot of anime to watch on Friday and Saturday, so I'm watching that, on Sunday or Monday, so I can talk about it on this stream. This episode, he's in a thing called the Misfit class, and they are on summer break. And their summer break, they're going to Walter Park, which is an amusement park in the Netherworld, which is where they all are. Now, when I first heard Walter Park, I assumed that it was a play on Water Park. Ooh, did I have this actually on wrong? Is that why it didn't fit right? No. No, it just doesn't want to fit right. Let me see if I can get this on here. No, that is right. This doesn't want to fit right on here. All right, let me try to get this on, and then we'll move on to work on the right arm. We're gonna build a whole right arm. Anyway, so I thought Walter Park was a reference to like Water Park, and they were like, oh, they call it Walter instead of water. That's weird. No, it's about Walter. Walter Park was a demon, and it's a play on Walt Disney. So Walter is a play on Walt, which I was like, oh, weird. So there's like a weird animal demon that is not a mouse, but definitely is like kind of a mouse. And there's a big sign with him and that. And it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just they're going to a water park. And it's a bunch of characters from the show. A couple characters aren't there. And also there's going to be some teachers there as bodyguards because Irma has never been to this kind of place, and also they don't know this, but we know, well, he's not a demon, so they're a little worried about him being out there. So they sent some chaperones, and they split the groups up into 3 groups. Also, Amari is there. Amari is the student council president. That Irma was like, "Oh, do you want to come?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." She thought it was a date, and then she's like, "Oh, this isn't a date." And she's not in Irma's group. All the girls got paired together with Opera, which is fun. And the group that got paired with Caligo, the guy who is the really strict teacher, they're like, we are going to force everyone to have fun because this is also a contest for some reason. I don't know why it's a contest, but it's a contest to see who can have the most fun. Uh, so the Iruma's team can't decide what they want to do, and eventually they run into, unfortunately, my least favorite character that was introduced season 2, Renove, who is basically like, turns out his dad is the creator of the park, so he's the son of the creator, which is why he was part of a parade, is because he just did it. He wasn't supposed to. He just joined the parade. Because originally I was like, oh, he works there. That's a good idea for him. But no, he doesn't work there. He's just the son of the owner. And he's like, hey, I like this idea of your contest. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to take you to the most secret part of this whole thing. I'm going to tell you the secret of this place, and we're going to go to a secret area that people don't normally go to. We're going to the basement because this magical, cool theme park is powered by prisoners. Prisoners have to give up some of their mana while they're serving their prison sentence, and that mana is used to power the park, which seems, one, very demon worldy, two, not cool, and three, pretty like a bad idea, because what happens if they escape and also they're clearly planning an escape for that day? A group called the what are they called? I wrote it down. They're called the Musashino crew. They're planning to destroy the park and release the prisoners, or some of the prisoners, that day. And also one of the prisoners is, of course, Kiryu, who was the main antagonist in the second half of the first season. So, of course, he's there looking forward to the destruction and all of that. But it's fucking coming. It's happening. They are going to... lot is happening. And, of course, it's the same day that this is happening. And then the preview definitely hints that there's going to be somebody on the inside is working with them, and it's going to be a whole thing. And the students of Babulus are going to have to come together and kick some ass. We'll see. It's a great show. It's very funny. Also, very small little thing. Last week we were introduced to a member of Clara, who's my favorite character in the show. We're introduced to the black sheep of her family, and he is the black sheep because he's responsible. And now he's in the opening, which is great because he was referenced in the first season, but we didn't see him, and now he's there, and he is great because he's just like, yeah, he's a responsible, polite person, and so they're like, there's one every generation. It's like, yeah, but they still love him though, which is nice. He's not like isolated; he's just different. Anyway, now I'm going to talk to you about the most interesting isekai this season. I think this is the most interesting. There's some cool ones. There's some new stuff coming through. I think this is the one that people are going to go, this looks very by the numbers. I'm not going to check this out, but it honestly is kind of really interesting. It's called Seirei Gensouki Spirit Chronicles. And so, look, let me tell you this. Rio is an orphan. He's looking for revenge. His mother was killed before his eyes. So he's looking to get that revenge. He was raised in the slums. He's from another country, so he doesn't have any standing here. He doesn't have any family left. So he's like, just got a hard life and just kind of like getting by. He's got street smarts. There's a guy named Haruto. He's a Japanese teen. I think he's just graduated from high school. He's just started university. He's got some regrets. One of his biggest regrets is that he dies in the first episode pretty instantly. We find out that he had a promise to marry his childhood sweetheart, but she disappeared from his life and she can't find her. Mysterious. He's on a bus that hits a train and then gets hit by another train. So he gets super isekai. But generally, and then Rio, at age 8, suddenly realizes, I have the memories of this teen from Japan, this young adult from Japan. I have this person's memories. Now, most anime, This would be the part where Haruto just takes over this kid's body and lives his life, right? But not this show. Rio is the dominant character. Rio, this kid, is just like, I now have memories of this person. I don't understand what they mean. I don't know why I have them, but I do. And they do it in an interesting way. So there is magic that because Haruto's inside of him, he unlocks some magic abilities. But for the most part, it's just like, well, this kid, this Haruto guy, studied Aikido, and he was trained by someone very strong. So our boy Rio has, sword training that's way better than other people. He stands higher than his peers, certainly, which definitely pisses some people off because it's like, you're a commoner. How are you good at sword play? So he's 8 years old. He's the commoner. He's on a scholarship because he saved a princess. It's this whole thing. And if you wondered, do people treat him poorly? Of course they do. He doesn't make friends. But he does have one friend at the school, his teacher, Cecilia. And because this is a fucking anime, Cecilia is 12 and a genius. So she's one of the teachers. So his friend there is because she's close to him in age, but also they can definitely fall in love with one another. But it's not weird because they're so close in age. And I will say this, because Rio is the one in control, it's not weird the way it would be. It is weird in other shows. Like, to enjoy By the Grace of the Gods, you have to kind of forget that this 11-year-old boy has the mind of a 30-something-year-old man. You kind of have to forget that. In this show, it's just that Rio is the age he is throughout. He goes from being 8 to 13 because they jump 5 years in the story, like out of nowhere. They just jump 5 years until he's, getting ready to maybe graduate. But anyway, they're just like, yeah, he has the memories of this young adult, but he's not that character. He's not Hayato. He is Haruto, I should say. He is Rio, which is way more interesting and also far less creepy. So it's not creepy that he's like definitely has feelings for this girl that is 4 years older than him. That's not weird because he's he just had some memories, but he isn't that 18-year-old in a child's body, because that always is fucking very creepy. They get around that, which I think is an interesting idea. Let's see what else happens. Okay, so he's very good with the sword. He ends up in a tournament against some royal knights, with the idea that that's usually where they go to scout people, but he doesn't want to become a knight. He wants to travel. He wants to go to, and I wrote this down. Where is it? Oh, okay. Yagamo. Yagamo is where he is from. It is where his parents were from. He's never been there, but he wants to return to. He wants to go to Yagamo, the birthplace of his parents. That's what he wants to do. He wants to travel. He doesn't want to go and become a knight. And Cecilia's like, you could stay here and like assist me and work. And he's like, yeah, no, I can't do that because you're almost at marrying age, and you don't need somebody of my social standing like hanging around, messing up your chances. Because even if he does think that maybe she likes him, he knows that's not a possibility, or he doesn't consider it a possibility. Anyway. He fights in the tournament, and the person he's facing is Charles. And some folks that watch the first episode are like, of course it's this fucking dude. This is the former captain of the guard, or vice captain of the guard, who got demoted, who thought that... so he's here, Rio's here because he saved the princess. He saved, like, one of the princesses. And it was believed, because of who he was and because of his standing, that he had something to do with the kidnapping, and he got caught and just said, "Oh, I rescued her." Like, that was just the assumption, and he, was beaten for information. Charles beat him, and then when the king was rewarding him, well, then you got to punish the guy that attacked him. So This dude is like, you caused me this, blah, blah. And so he goes all out. It's not a sparring thing. He goes all out to try to hurt Rio. And then Rio wins pretty handily because he's very good at sword fighting. And his style is different. People are like very surprised about that. But that dude, Charles, shares a drink with an ambassador who finds out, he never knew this, that Rio was the person that rescued the princess. And he's like, oh, it was him. Interesting. Because that dude, we don't know his name yet. We just know that he's an ambassador. That dude is the guy either behind or in charge of the kidnapping of the princess that happened. So now he knows who Rio is, and that's probably bad for Rio or bad for this dude. We'll see. Anyway, because of the opening and closing animation, there's a bunch of characters that we haven't seen yet. And so you assume that Rio either graduates or something happens and will happen soon. And then Rio ends up going on a journey or something. Something's going to happen. But we'll see. So this show I really dig. I'm really into. I recommend it. Like I said, it is because it is Rio with memories of someone and not somebody in now a fantasy world trying to do that. It's this guy like trying to be like, what do these memories mean? What do these second nature things are? And then he hasn't even really used his magic powers much. He's been focusing on what he can do. Because they say like he doesn't even use magic, or he doesn't even know magic, which we're pretty sure he does know magic. He doesn't use it. It is I don't know, it's a pretty interesting show. So I would recommend it. I'm gonna turn this over. If you're looking for a fun action series, especially it is incredibly fast paced in the first episode. And like I said, they time jump 5 years. They do it in kind of an interesting way because they have this whole scene about how, he's short enough that like he's shorter than her, and then like the next scene he's taller than her and she hasn't grown at all. Also, she's 17 now and does not look it. She looks identical, which is weird. That's not great in my opinion. But he definitely looks older, and then in some of the opening and closing theme, he clearly looks like a young man. So we're going to see. So he ages quite a bit in the show, which is interesting. We'll see if that actually means anything. But yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I think it's like it's got a cool premise. I like that it focuses on this guy, with memories from somebody else and not that. Maybe it changes because there is shots where he has blonde hair or like light hair. So maybe eventually Haruto takes over the body. I don't know. Can't tell you for sure. But I thought it was kind of neat. So we've got some time left in the stream. So now's the part of the stream where I ask, what are y'all watching? It doesn't have to be anime, of course. I haven't checked in with y'all in a bit. We got some new folks here watching. What are you checking out? Are you watching anything on television? Have you been watching my condolences to our British friends that it did not come home. Congratulations, Italy fans. It was rough. That was a long, hard-fought finals. But yeah, if people have been watching, that's that. If they're getting psyched for Olympics, if they got Olympic fever, you can let me know if that's something you're excited for. You've been watching prelims of that. If you're watching television stuff in the summer, like catching up on things. If you're checking out some YouTube channels, I don't think I have any new. This guy Regis, who is I've started watching his YouTube. He's a Hearthstone streamer that I never really got into, but a Hearthstone streamer I was watching a lot of and watched a lot of their YouTube stuff. Stopped playing Hearthstone, so I had a good little hole there, a content to fill. So I've been watching this dude. That's kind of the big thing that I've been checking out on YouTube. I haven't really been watching anything else. I mean, I've been watching. So I've been watching a lot of that solo travel Japan, which means that I now get recommended a lot of other travel things, which is fine because they're good. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of like train rides in Japan, which has been pretty neat. But yeah, I want to hear from y'all. Let me know if you've been watching anything cool, or if you've been watching things that you're like, I don't know why I'm watching this. It's bad. You can also tell me about that, because sometimes that's fun to hear about too. We did finish an arm. We're making some good. This kit not going to take super long, but we're moving through it. I don't expect this to be a very long build, because it is a not that much. There's not much to it. Um, uh, uh, let's see. I'm nearly finished with the TV show The Americans. Interesting premise. Oh yeah. So I never really got super into The Americans, but I know some people that really liked it. So that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying the premise, at least, or find it interesting. Lashbrook says, I caught up on last week's AEW. Bummed I won't see Page Omega live, but I always knew in the back of my head that would be a way to a fast build up for a story. Rest of the card in 2 days looks good though. Yes, Lashbrook is going to see AEW live in Texas. So yeah, they're going to take their time with it. Mainly, I think they're taking their time with it because this is it. This is the thing, and you got to build to the thing. If you're going to take the belt off of him, now could it be that uh, Kenny wins through nefarious means, and there's a second title shot? Maybe that could be. I hope it's not. I hope this is the thing. Um, it would be fucking rad if it was. Uh, it is definitely, his time to shine. So I think you do it, but I don't know. Um, Aristovan says, I picked up if Pageman doesn't win, nobody does. Yeah, Lashbrook, I don't know who they build up. If it's not Jungle Boy, then it honestly, unfortunately, it's Moxley. Like Moxley wins, I guess. If Hangman doesn't, then it's Moxley, and that's boring. Because honestly, I'm more interested in Moxley Eddie Kingston, which I think they'll go back to when he comes back, because that is actually really interesting. Also, that should lead to a feud, because you want Eddie Kingston to turn on John Moxley, or vice versa. Ooh, it's way more interesting if Moxley turns on Eddie, and Eddie's the face and Moxley's the heel. That's fucking great, because I'd rather see that program than Moxley in the title hunt again. Right now, anyway. Ristovan says, I picked up the New Day comic by Austin Walker and Everett Narcy. Fun so far. Great. I haven't picked that up. I am going to. I want to support. Especially because, it's Austin writing a comic book about the New Day. It's just, that's lovely. Co-writing, I should definitely clarify. But that's just rad as hell. And I know that he, like, clearly such a good choice. I know that he gets it, uh, and is a great prose writer, and now gets to learn from somebody who is seasoned about comic books, and that's just going to make the product good. So I'm excited about that. I picked up a copy Sunday, but haven't cracked it open yet. Yeah, I have to pick that up. I'm not. There's not a good. There's not a really strong comic book shop anywhere near me that, like, I don't know if they carry Boom. Like, they might, but they're not really a comic book. They're a place that has comics, is what I'll say. So I might have to, like, get it some other way, so ordering or something. I don't know, but I do want to get that. So we'll see. Hopefully, I will be able to, because I am excited about it. But yeah, I'm excited about Hangman. The thing I want to know is, what were the plans before Brody passed? Brody Lee, because he was bouncing around, and the storyline was that they wanted him in the Dark Order. And then when the Dark Order became, faces through circumstance, it just kind of played as like they're the guys that really want him, and he likes them, but he has feelings about like how he's inadequate and he's been hurt before and all that. So I do wonder what the plan was after that. Like, what were they gonna do with him? Was it gonna be like him hanging out with best friends, or him hanging, because I can see like him and like Statlander and him and like Orange hanging out. Like, maybe that was the thing they were gonna do. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what their plans were. That's the thing I'm kind of interested in. Is like, what did they want to do that they didn't do because of that? Um, 'Cause, yeah, you have to imagine that he was going to move on to another thing and just like go through friend groups because they were setting up, they're setting up Hangman Page, Adam Hangman Page, as like the kid that can sit at any table at the cafeteria because there's like, yeah, everybody's like, oh yeah, Hangman. Like maybe he was gonna like maybe he was gonna like hang out. You could see him hanging out with Jurassic Express, like him fitting in there where like, he's not as big, obviously he's not as big powerhouse as Luchasaurus, but like, you could see that. uh maybe that would have made sense, and that would have been the storyline they're going with. Like he was just bumping around trying to like find himself. uh but of course, when all of the Dark Order became faces and it's a feel good story, then it's like, well, no, we're gonna follow through on this. uh is it me, or it's just Boomkin as or I like the hunt for the title rather than the championship run. No, that's definitely not just you. You are certainly not alone in that. Of liking the hunt and not so the thing is, the hunt you can write really well. You can tell a really compelling story about the hunt, right? And some people go, the hunt is so important that you don't actually want the payoff. Like on Raven's last night at ECW, Tommy Dreamer wanted to lose to Raven. Tommy wanted Raven to go out as champ because Tommy knew that the fans that booed him when he came in as like a like a pretty boy, that accepted him and cheered him on as the character he became, that part of them kind of didn't, they didn't want to admit it, they didn't want to see him succeed. They kind of wanted him to be an everyman and lose. And they were like, no, absolutely not. You have to beat Raven. He's leaving. But Tommy Dreamer understood that when you're not the underdog, then you have to then reinvent yourself. And that is a thing that lots of wrestling companies are bad at because it's fucking hard. It's hard to do that. At the time, I was bummed with the direction they went with Daniel Bryan when he cashed in his money in the bank and then acted like he cashed in because Mark Henry, after he lost to the Big Show, destroyed the Big Show with chairs, right? Or the chair. And then, even though he said he wouldn't cash in on uh, Big Show and he would do things fair and announce it, Daniel Bryan cashed in on an injured Big Show and then acted like he was a giant killer. And then that was part of the heel turn, the I believe my own hype Daniel Bryan. At the moment, that sucked because I wasn't ready to stop cheering Daniel Bryan. I thought it was a bad call. In the long run, it was a great call because Daniel Bryan needed something to sink his teeth into because he wasn't the unlikely when he won Money in the Bank. No one expected Daniel Bryan to win Money in the Bank. He was just there to be good in the match and put on a good thing and hold the ladder and take bumps and be and do jump off that in some way, do like a running knee off the table and hit somebody, or the table off the ladder and hit somebody or whatever. Put somebody in the label lock on the through a ladder. That's what he's there for, right? He's not there to win Money in the Bank. So when he wins, it's like, oh shit, Daniel Bryan is champ. Daniel Bryan is going to cash in, and very few people, if any, at that time had ever lost, in a cash in attempt. So holy shit! But they needed to do something with him, and what they chose to do was make him a shit heel, and that's different. And at the time, I didn't enjoy it, but in hindsight, it's the smartest thing you can do because WWE, particularly, but all wrestling companies have that issue of now what? They didn't think about now what. They think about the rise to the championship, the road to making it. But they don't think about what happens when you do make it and what you do with the character. If they're smart, they do it, but it's hard to do that. Which is why sometimes championship reigns feel bad because it kind of fell in their laps and they went with it. Kofi Mania. It's very clear there was not a plan for after Kofi Mania. Because if there was a plan, then it was a bad plan and they should have reworked the plan. But they were like, in my opinion anyway, this is, I don't have any insider information. This is just what I think. They were looking at, okay, well, we want to do this, 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 and this. So we'll do this, 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 and this. This is how we'll build. It'll be Daniel Bryan. And it's like kind of the reversal of WrestleMania where he's coming as a champion and Kofi can't make it. And we're going to play into all this stuff. And, we're going to bring up all these things. And it'll be a lot for a lot of people and a cool WrestleMania moment, a big WrestleMania moment, one of the best WrestleMania, modern WrestleMania moments that people will be talking about it for years. And it's going to be the big moment. And you get the sense that at no point did someone go, and then what happens? Because then what happened was kind of piss poor matches with Randy Orton, which doesn't help because Randy Orton and Kofi never had good matches. I mean, legitimately, it is a known industry quote unquote secret that has probably been pushed out of proportion that Randy disliked working with him so much that it killed one of his pushes, like his last big push before that. We still don't know if that's true, but whatever. But it was very clear that he was feuding with Randy, and then he wasn't feuding with Randy, and then that was a long time coming. So that they didn't have a good setup for it. They didn't have a good person for him to be the heroic baby face against. And it's unfortunately, like, people will always remember Kofi Mania. They'll remember the run. They'll remember the Daniel Bryan of it all. And they'll remember him losing very quickly to Brock Lesnar as if he lost. He did better in Japan against Brock Lesnar than he did in the U.S. when he was champion. When he was a challenger, he did better than as a champion. It's just another Brock Lesnar win. And it's a fucking bummer. It's a big bummer that is how that happened, and that's how he went out. But the I couldn't remember this, folks. One of his challengers was Dolph Ziggler. That's your run. That's your championship reign, is defeats of Dolph Ziggler and defeats of Randy Orton, or like no contests against Randy Orton. Like, that's your, and then you lose to Brock Lesnar. And of course you lose to Brock Lesnar. Like, who are you, Samoa Joe? No, you're not Samoa Joe. So you're going to lose to Brock Lesnar. You're not going to be competitive against Brock Lesnar. Lord Crashington wants me to ring the bell. This is my channel points, is this little bell, and I'm going to ring it. And I rang that bell for 1,000 points. Thank you very much for using that. And now we're going to put the arms on here. We don't have the shoulders done. We'll do the shoulders later. And we don't have the... did I miss that on the chest? Let me look. No. Maybe it doesn't have the little things on it. The high grade doesn't have the little things. Maybe, yeah. Or those come later. Maybe that's the Lupus Rex that has the little chest nubbins. Maybe that is, yeah. So like I said, we started this at 9:30 or so, and we are done with the top of this kit. Because this kit, it says, like, we got to do the legs. We got to do the... we got some color here. We got to do the our big old swords. Our different weapons. We got to get those together. There's a gun that's sold separately. It doesn't come with this kit. But yeah, the backpack is really light and easy. And then the last thing we got to do is we got to put the shoulder stuff on. That's like the very end is the shoulder stuff. But you can also, yeah, you can put the shoulder pieces on if you want, but you don't have to. Come in on this kit, or is that in there? No, they do. You could add armor on at the end, which we probably will, because it does look rad. We'll take like the different style looks of it. And you could take this shield piece off if you want, which is kind of neat. And just make it look identical, but we might not even do that. I don't know. Let's see. We can let's get some of the feet started. We'll get some of the feet started. We are gonna also, when we wrap up tonight, folks, just like a bunch of you came in because of Micah Tech, we are going to rate. That is a thing we'll do here. We are going to go and give a raid to somebody else and spread the love. Sometimes they are model kit people. Sometimes they're just people that I think are rad. because I like to go and raid people that I think are cool. So we will definitely go give a raid to somebody awesome. Generally, they're on the West Coast because that means they will hopefully be streaming for a while. Occasionally, I have raided people who are wrapping up their stream, but I'm usually pretty good about knowing who is going to be on for a bit. Like I said, they're usually West Coasters, so they'll be on for a bit. Whereas I am East Coaster. All right, so how this goes on because it's like sort of showing me. Okay, so this is this way, so it goes like this. All right, so it goes like that into A10. We can build these twice, so we're going to do this at the same time, which is neat that we get to do. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Give me you know, give me a like if you like this. Not a like. Give me a follow if you like this. Is what I'm trying to say. If you like what we did here, you want to see me again. My next stream will be Wednesday. Where are we playing a video game? Let me see what won the poll over on my Patreon, because this is the week where my Patreon, my $3, $5, and $10 level folks vote on what I do, and they will decide for me what I'm going to play. And let me see here. And they chose Jackbox. Okay, I'm playing Jackbox on Wednesday. I'm happy to do it. I put it as a list. I honestly thought Power Wash Simulator update was going to get that because there has been some new areas. There's a new vehicle and some new areas that got added to the to Power Wash Simulator, and also they did some quality of life improvements to it. Did some reworking of the soap system, which is cool. So, but we're gonna honestly, let's be real. We're gonna check that out another week anyway, because I still want to check that out. So we will check that out in the future. We'll get an update on that. That'll be good. But on Wednesday, it looks like I'm playing Jackbox Party Pack 7, playing Quiplash and Champed Up. Quiplash 3 and Champed Up are probably the ones we'll play from that, because those are my favorites of them. So we will be checking those games out because those are the ones that I like the most of the on that pack. So yeah, if you want to watch me, if you want to play, you have to come and be in this channel or be in the stream. I play with chat, so come back Wednesday 9 p.m. and on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will continue the Barbatos. We will definitely get some work done on this kit. Because it is a pretty quick build. I think the chest area is usually the part that is the weirdest because it's just getting used to that, the hunched overness of this kit. Oh yeah, and I'm going to put some blue tack on this, or some probably liquid cement. I'll just put a little dab of liquid cement and get that to stay on. Maybe I'll do blue tack. I don't know yet, but I'll get that so it doesn't fall off all the time. And I will probably panel line the back of this. But we are going to call it quits there for the night. Again, we are going to raid. I'm about to go see who is out there that we want to go give a raid to. And please come along on this raid when we do that. Let's see who we got. Who do we got that we want to go raid? We want to go raid. We're going to go raid Libs. Well, hey, speaking of robots, right now Liz Star, the fantastic Liz Star, is playing Super Robot Wars T. So that feels very appropriate. We're gonna go raid Liz, who's playing that. So let's go get that ready. Let me click the old raid channel button. Pick Liz. So yeah, Liz is playing a robot game. She's great. So we're gonna go get Liz a raid. So please come along on this raid. She's fantastic, and I know that you'll have a good time. Thank you all so much for being here. For new friends, welcome. Old friends, thank you again for your continued support. I hope you have a great evening. This is the anime ass looking fighting thing, so we're gonna go check this out. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you on the next Build with Baer, or for some games on Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Have a great night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.